I'm excited. Coach Bros of Copper Moose Fitness, and today we're going over the pull-up. The elusive, challenging, I can't do that, yes you can, pull-up that I'm excited to just coach you on today. So we're gonna go over some mistakes that are commonly made, bunch of cues on how to fix those things, and we will get you there. We've got plenty of women who started out with not being able to do one single pull-up that can now do multiple in succession. I'm talking 3, 5, 8, 10. And you can be 1, 2, right? And then plenty of our guys going from not being able to do 0 to being able to knock out 10. Some guys are even weighting them up. So it is possible, I promise you that. A lot of it just comes from not knowing what to do. So, got 4 main mistakes that I see a lot of people make. Because the pull-up is held, our 4 mistakes spell out the word hell. So our H is head position. When you're doing a pull-up, head position is crucial. What tends to happen is we've been taught that you have to get your chin above the bar, whether it's a chin up or a pull up. We'll talk about that later. But when people are coming straight up, they reach with their chin and get really far back to get it over the bar. Now, if you were to watch me from the side, you realize what I end up doing by looking straight up at that bar, reaching with my chin, I'm actually arching my back. By doing that, I'm taking my body further away from the bar, which means I'm increasing the range of motion that my body has to travel. Well, this is a challenging move. I'm lifting my entire body up to a bar. It's no different than a deadlift where I'm lifting a heavy weighted object from the floor up. Now, when we're doing a deadlift, we want to shorten the range of motion as best as possible so we can lift the heaviest amount of weight. Same thing up here. We want to shorten the range of motion so it's targeting the right things. You don't want to be leaning back, and head position does that. Where our eyes go, our body usually follows. So what I want you to focus on is picking a focal point straight ahead of you and staring at that the entire time. So with that, I would stare at something straight ahead and I would just pull through until chin's above the bar and come straight back down. Even at the top, even if I'm not able to get my chin above the bar, I'm still going to only look straight ahead. Because for a lot of people, getting their chin above the bar isn't a matter of strength, isn't a matter of range of motion, it's a matter of arm length. Now, I've got really long arms, so for me, getting my chin above the bar just means I pull all the way down. But for a lot of people with shorter arms, right, they may hit chest or not even be able to get chest to hit the bar because of that. So, you need to just be aware of the way your body is built so you don't beat yourself up over something that your body just may not be built for. All right, so the E, let's talk about that. Elbows. Elbows drive this movement. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking it's biceps and it's lats. Yes, those are the muscle groups that we are primarily working with a pull-up. But I want you to think of pulling your elbows into your pockets. And the reason being is a lot of times we want to go drifting into that position we were just talking about. And when you're pulling your elbows back into your back pockets, it's going to put your body in that correct position. So the entire time you're going, all I want you to think is, are my elbows pulling through this motion? So just pull through your elbows directly into your pockets and then straight back down. That's going to help keep you from kipping, from arching, or any of those things that aren't going to be as effective. All right, so the first L, probably the most important one, I think, lead with your chest. So you just want to think proud chest. So I'm wearing a shirt specifically for this one with a logo on it, one of our CMF logo ones, and I want my chest to hit the bar. A lot of times people cave under in. Elbows kind of come in, that's why you're thinking elbows back, which is why that cue came first. But I want you to think lead with your chest. You want to have a proud chest the entire time. Like you grew some pecs and some boobies, so be proud of whatever you got there, right? We embrace all sizes, shapes, colors, it's amazing, so celebrate that. But as you're going with the pull-up, lead with your chest the entire time, okay? So if you're doing that, you've already got your head position correct. You're not arching, wonderful. Now you're not caving in because your elbows are back. Now you've got a tight up chest, so you're getting as high as you possibly can without crawling down in on that bar and not being able to reach. So now you're not overdoing it with your head position, going the other direction. Which leads me to our last L, lack of core engagement, or just lack of engagement in general. With any fitness movement, the more rigidity we can create through the body, the stiffer we are, the more we're going to work, but also the more power we are going to have. If you've got something that's really loose, it's going to be more difficult to pull, right? So it's no different than when you have a baby, and because my son is 5.5 months right now at this time, when he is fussy and tight and I can pick him up, it's a lot easier. Or when he reaches out to take him out of his car seat, it's a lot easier. When he is dead weight and just there, it naturally feels heavier, right? Because there's nothing to pull. So why don't you make your body rigid Now we're gonna work core, now we're gonna work glutes simultaneously, but you're also going to help create that stability through your body so that you can pull straight up. So you're giving yourself more chance to get up. So what I want you to do, if possible, you have your knees bent so that you're fully gonna use your core. You're gonna squeeze your abs, you're gonna squeeze your butt as tight as you can, right? Think like you're in prison and you wanna squeeze that butt to protect yourself. You gotta do what you gotta do. You don't got some duct tape today and we're just gonna squeeze. So squeeze and fully engage, squeeze and fully abs, and you can cross your legs if you want to. Look straight forward and stay tight all the way throughout that movement pattern, all right? Abs tight, butt tight. If you need legs straight down, absolutely fine. It's usually a little easier to engage your core with until your core is strong enough to do it with the bent knee. So those are 4 common mistakes that we need to cue. So just think hell, right? Head position, E, you're going with your elbows. L, you're leading with your chest. Second L, lack of engagement. Tighten it all up. So you're like, okay, Joseph, great. Still can't do it, not strong enough. All right, so where do we start? If possible, we start with a chin-up. Now I'm gonna regress even more here in a minute to get you to that level. But the first one I want you to even start with when you're starting out is a chin-up, which just means underhand grip. So you're gonna grab that bar, and with this it's crucial that both hands are in line with the elbows and in line with the shoulders. Anytime we have joints that are stacked on any movement pattern, you're going to have more power and stability than if they're not stacked. If I'm trying to go here, my elbows are gonna get cranky, my ribs are gonna flare, my back's gonna hurt, right? So if I'm nice and tight throughout that movement pattern, all my joints are stacked. My wrist on top of my elbow, in theory on top of my shoulder, all the way down. Therefore creating more rigidity, core engagement, and power throughout the entire move. So underhand is gonna actually activate more bicep, giving you more opportunity to pull straight through that movement pattern and back on down. Always go in a full extension, fully extending the arms if possible, instead of cheating it and just hanging on that bicep if you can, okay? Second one, once you've mastered the chin-up, you can knock out a few reps. If you have access to the equipment, you're gonna go what's called a neutral grip. So now instead of your hands being underhand, where it's using all bicep, you're gonna have them straight forward, gripping handles that are straight forward, so that you're starting to recruit your back, your lats. But you're still able to use a lot of bicep. This is usually one of the most comfortable ones on wrists. If you have any kind of wrist issues, a lot of times that underhand grip is really harsh on wrists or elbows if you're prone to any kind of tendonitis. So straightforward, maybe even where you want to start now. Once you've mastered that, then we can go to the overhand grip. And hand position, where I want that one, hands will end directly over the elbows in that semi-wider pattern. So it's gonna end so that your hands are just on the outsides of your shoulders, giving you the capacity to fully use your entire lats, right? So those are the progressions that I want you to start with. Now, what if you're saying, okay, that's great. Still can't do the chin-up, Joseph. All right, so we got 3 things that I want you to work on, and really it's just depending on your situation at home or your gym setting. Now the first one that is ideal is to just go with an isolated hold, right? So build up that isolated hold first. And honestly, whichever hand position you're comfortable with and you're working on is absolutely fine. So what you can do is you can jump off the floor, off the box, whatever it is for you, and then all I want you to do is stabilize, get in that position, and hold. But the key to that is to not just hold and hang on to your biceps. That would be easy to do. What I need you to do is really pull back that proud chest and squeeze your shoulder blades and lats together. Think a nice deep squeeze down in. So what you're really doing is you're still trying to pull your elbows to your pockets. Same cue, and hold for as long as you possibly can without it flaring up your elbows. Do that a few times a week, a few sets each time. You'll start building that capacity to hold in that position. Well, that's great and all, right? So now we need to hit a few other pieces, probably the lowering phase, probably the raising phase. So let's do that. All right, so number 2, the thing that we want to work on is the eccentric phase, which is the lowering phase, because during the lowering phase, you're lengthening those muscles, and that's where you're actually tearing the muscle fibers to then build them up for strength. So it's the lowering phase of most of these movements we want to do slow, right? So what I want you to do is jump on up or step on up, whatever's easiest for you, right? I'll just pull on up. But then once you're up there, I want you to go as slowly down as you possibly can. So you're basically letting yourself fall and resetting and touching the ground, since we may not be able to pull ourselves back up yet, but you're still building all the strength within that pattern. Now the key is gonna be to not hang on by your biceps and still keep those lats engaged. So still think Elbows are staying back by my pockets even as I'm getting further away from them. Okay, so that's the lowering phase. You've got the isolated phase. Well, what else? If possible, if you've got the capacity to do this, you're going to use either a band or a step box. Both serve different purposes. Bands are just nice and convenient and easy. Now you probably want to get a set that has many different levels, right? Or you can use some kind of a pulley system. But the nice thing is you can put it on your knee, you can put it on your foot, and you're just going to push down and lock in, so the knee would be less resistance. If you want the foot, you put it on your foot, you push all the way down, you're getting more resistance. It's going to help with usually the hardest part of the pull-up for most people, which is that base, right? So it's this initial, like, I can't get going. Well, your band is going to give you that assistance at the bottom part of that move. It's a wonderful thing, giving you that little bit of resistance to help get you up into momentum, okay? But now, say that that's not the area where you're struggling, and you can get halfway up, and then you're stuck. In that circumstance, a box or some kind of step is really great. And here's what you would want to do. Set it up, right, so that you can actually push off and come all the way up, but you're using controlled pressure. So you would have one leg on the box or two, whatever you need. It could be on the ground as well based on your height, and you're just going to use that leg to push up the entire time. This way you can control, right, and then you do the same thing back down, or do then your eccentric, your lowering. So once you're at the top, lift, right, and then control back down. But you're able to control the pressure that you need to help you with that movement pattern. Obviously, the further you go, less and less and less and less resistance that you use with your legs. Your goal is to pretend like you don't have legs. You lost them, you left them at a drive-through. And so yeah, that's how we're gonna do that move. Okay, last thing, because I know we're going over a lot here, but I promise you this is all worth it, and you'll be able to do this, and then you'll be like, oh snap, I'm freaking awesome, because you are. Okay, back to that. Breathing. When do you breathe? Constantly is probably good for you too. But I want you to think, deep inhale at the bottom to fill your entire diaphragm, create rigidity and stability throughout your body, and exhale on the up. If you're really, really struggling, you're trying to get that one tight first rep ever, then I just want you to breathe in the last half of your up phase. Right? Here's what I mean. Inhale, right? And then stay nice and tight, and then exhale. So it's going up that you're gonna exhale. Once you're in the habit, once you're really rocking, it's just inhale as you lower, exhale as you power through on the up. As you're exhaling, it gives you that power that you need in order to rock it on up. So that brings us to a little conclusion. So just remember our cues. Held, right? Head position, elbows, lead with the chest, lack of core engagement. Those four things are gonna make a huge difference. Start with some underhand, move your way on up to neutral, over and up, and finally hit that nice wide grip. And then from there, use whatever little modifiers and helpers you need to get to that level. Maybe some resistance band, rock some isos, see if you can add in a box for that nice control down and up, and you will get there, my friends. As always, hit me up with questions if you need, and peace be the journey. Coach Broseph, I'm out.